First time buyer, not sure whether to buy or not to buy, please stick around because that's what I'm talking about today. My name is Manda Walker and I'm the mortgage coach. So the first option is you could suck it up. At the end of the day, no one has a crystal ball. No one knows how high the interest rate is going to go. No one knows if it's going to come back down and dramatically be as low as it was before. A lot of people are saying it was the pre-COVID and they were basically trying to hold the housing market up, which is why the interest rates were in some cases less than 1%, but round the sort of 1.5%. That may never happen again. We haven't got a crystal ball. At the moment, it is about 3.5%. It could go up, it could go down, who knows? Most people say it's going to go up before it goes down. So now may be a good time to buy if the interest rate is just about to go up again. At the end of the day, when you're buying a property, you can have a 2-year fixed, which means the rate is fixed for 2 years, or a 3-year fixed, or a 5-year fixed, which means that the rate will be fixed for those years. So you can wait it out. So if you have the deposit, if you have the affordability, you could book in on a fixed now, and then you could ride the waves. You could do what some people are doing and go on a variable on the assumption that in 6 months' time it will all drop again, and then you could go on a fixed. But at the end of the day, there is no crystal ball, but you could buy now and then work out what you're going to do later. At the end of the day, if you're fixed and you can afford it, why not keep on? Why not buy? Now, the second option is, instead of buying now, wait. So when you're looking at waiting, what's the best way to wait? Do you want to save up for a more deposit? Do you want to put your money in an ISA and leave it to one side? There are ISAs that you can obviously save to. It is capped at a certain amount each year, and then you can only put in a certain amount each month. You can put your money in other investments like stocks and shares, and hope that they'll go up and it will increase your deposit. There are other things you can do with your deposit other than putting it into a savings account. But while you're saving your deposit, there's other things that you need to look at. You need to look at your credit. You need to look at the state of your bank statements. They kind of go hand in hand. With your bank statements, you don't want to have too many transfers going from loads of different places. You don't want to be living in your overdraft. All of that will worry lenders, and they will be looking at your bank statements later on down the line. So get into good financial habits right now. The other thing is your credit report. Now, everybody looks at the score. It isn't particularly what the banks look at. What they look at is the payment history. So what arrears have you got? County court judgments? Have you missed any payments? Are you late on any payments? Anything along those lines. And the other tip that I'd like to say with the credit report, get it sorted out while the account is active. If you've missed a payment, or there's been a mistake or a clerical error where you didn't miss the payment and then you go and close the account, it's very, very difficult to get that overturned. So keep the account active, contact the banks, contact whoever gave you the committed expenditure, the committed credit. So for instance, if it is, a HSBC bank account, credit card, contact them. Also contact whatever credit report or credit agency it appears on. So if it's just on Experian, contact Experian. If it's on Experian, Equifax and TransUnion, contact them all. I tend to use Check My File myself, and it's a multi-agency report, so it does cover a lot. You'd be surprised what's on one credit file of one credit agency that's not on the other one. So use this time. If you want more information about the things you'd be working on while you're saving a deposit, like financial education, the A to Z of mortgages, a 12-step program of how to get mortgage ready, and money mindset, then I think, it's definitely worth, and I'll put it in the link, but it's called Get Mortgage Ready Club, where you can join, and for a monthly fee I will give you loads of courses in there, masterminds on how it all works, how to manage your personal finance. I also coach every other week. There's a Facebook group, there's accountability, and there's loads more. So it's definitely worth having a look at that. The other thing you could think of about is, if you chose to buy now, how could you limit your risk? So one of those things is you could buy with somebody else. Do you have a partner, husband, wife that you can buy with? Did you want to buy with your brother or sister? Do you want to take advantage of your right to buy options? There's a lot of council people out there, council tenants. Maybe now is a good time to get a right to utilize the right to buy. So that's also an option. The other thing is, you could buy with your friends. I mean, a lot of mortgages allow you to have 4 people on the mortgage. So you could actually, instead of just buying a 1-bed flat, you could buy a house with your friends. When I recommend this, I would say make sure you sign a legal agreement between all of you, basically stating what your intentions are. Like, I once had a group of guys that did it, and what they did is they had a legal agreement that said they would own it for 5 years, and in 5 years time they would sell and split the profit, basically. So that's an option. A lot of first time buyers are thinking, they haven't got enough to buy their own property, but they don't want to leave the money just sitting there because they're worried that, they'll spend it on a nice new car, or something will come up and they'll have to dip into it, so to speak. So what you might want to do is think about buying a buy-to-let. There are mortgages out there that will do first time buyer, first time landlord. So that's when you're getting a buy-to-let, when you do not own your own residential, you don't own your own home. There's a lot of people out there that are still living at home with their mum and dad, and they have money that they've been putting aside, and they're quite happy living at home with their mum and dad, but they want something more. So a lot of them have been approaching me to also do a buy-to-let. So at the end of the day, there are several options to you. It isn't a bad situation as it may seem. So as I said, so my name's Amanda Walker, and I'm the mortgage coach. And if you'd like to know more, there are a lot of videos on here about all those different type of products that I've talked about and more. And also my membership, as I mentioned before, that is called Get Mortgage Ready Club. And for a small fee per month, you will learn all about how to manage your personal finance, all about how to have the right money mindset. I mean, myself personally, I bought when I was 22, and for me it was a case of I went from university, so I doubled my salary overnight, because I went from being at uni to having my first full-time job. And because I was living at home, very low expenses, I just used that additional money and put it aside. I had an end goal. So I think if you can budget, if you can plan, and know what your end goal is, it really does help with your mindset. I think financial education is very important. Understanding how mortgages work and what you can and can't do also open up a lot of possibilities for you. So thank you very much for your time, and see you on the next video.